Hello, my geek fam! Today, let's see another big cheese of the art world. A monster, a dinosaur. Some even say he's a wild beast.
Welcome to Forgery Park. I spared no expense.
That's a Van Gogh?
Yes,
And over there, a herd of post-impressionists?
indeed.
Okay, yes. The masters create art create the forgers, and then the forgers recreate the masters. So big. Do you have a Matisse?
Oh, yes, right over there.
How did you do it?
I will show you.
Hi guys, first of all, please like, share and subscribe if you like my videos. And if you apply these little advices to your own paintings, feel free to share on social media with the hashtag NGFCPaint so I can see them. Just like that American who did this hilarious collage inspired by Clint with the face of a doggy simply titled The Derp. Excellent. Or William Cattrall Art, who took on a very difficult puddle reflection using the tips from my Van Gogh video. Great guys, continue. I have always felt very close to Henri Matisse because I was born only a few kilometers away from his hometown. Le Cateau-Cambrésis has indeed a wonderful Matisse museum that I visited several times when I was a kid. The colors, the seemingly simplified shapes, and the wonderful compositions of his paintings have always fascinated me. Born in 1869, Matisse was not destined to be a painter. He studied law and started a career as a court administrator. However, during his convalescence from appendicitis in 1889, his mother offered him a set of paints and brushes to occupy his time. He loved it so much, he decided to drop everything and move to Paris to become an artist. His first paintings were quite classical with something of a dark, brownish, earthy palette. But in 1896, John Russell, an Australian painter, introduced him to the works of Vincent van Gogh, and it was a revelation. Matisse changed his style immediately for bright colors. These colors, bright and dynamic, sometimes dissonant, made Matisse the head of the Fauvism movement. In French, a fauve is a wild beast. So why wild beast? In 1905, during the Autumn Salon exhibition in Paris, the art critic Louis Vaucel called the room where the Fauvism paintings were La Cage aux Fauves, the wild beast cage, because of the aggressive way the colors jumped at you. The name was coined and would stick. During his stay in Paris, Matisse became a lifelong friend of Picasso and other artists of the time. In 1917, he moved to the south of France. This brought to his painting a more relaxed and simplified approach, less detailed, and more focused on the color and their interaction. Matisse stayed in France during World War II, despite the invitation of his son, who was then living in New York, to leave the country for a safer place. He felt as if he would be a deserter if he left his country during these hard times. Modern art was, of course, not a favorite of the Nazis, but Matisse and several of his friends bravely continued to exhibit their work during the war. A lot of his paintings were looted by the Nazis, and although some have been found and given back to their original owners, there are still 38 artworks listed in the Lost Art Internet database. Toward the end of his life, suffering from abdominal cancer, regular painting became difficult, so Matisse turned to paper collage. His assistants would paint large pages with gouache, and Matisse would cut and arrange them to compose his images until his death in 1954. You may understand that Matisse had several different styles in his career, but I want to focus on the paintings of the Fauvism area, early 1900s. His works from these few years are characterized by bold and vibrant colors, simplified forms, expressive brushwork, and a joyful and decorative atmosphere. He embraced intense blues, violent greens, warm yellows, and rich oranges, simplifying objects to their essential shapes to prioritize color. Matisse used expressive brushwork with visible strokes, creating texture and vitality. The interplay of warm and cool hues added contrast, while the overall atmosphere exuded a sense of joy. This period marked Matisse's experimentation and innovation, establishing him as a pioneer of modern art. See, this still life, for example. Notice how the shadows are blue, purple, how the background brings some red, the yellow bottle, bam! And this view of Notre Dame Cathedral, the cathedral is purple, bam! The river banks are red, boom! The shadows are blue, paf! There is not a single architectural detail on the building yet. We understand immediately where we are. And this view from the Luxembourg Garden explodes like a firework. The trees are pink, red, blue, teal, yellow, pow, pow, pow! So, let's try to infuse some of these wild colors into a representation of my own living room. Let's start. You know the drill on this one. First, you can judge your colors better than on a stark white background. Second, it gives a general tone to the image. And finally, cherry on the cake, you avoid having the white canvas playing peekaboo between your brush strokes. As we want a quiet sunny afternoon, I take a nice yellow ochre for this. First things first. Find a perfect spot in your living room that offers a captivating view. Consider the arrangement of your furniture, the lighting, and any focal point you want to highlight. Take your time to choose the best perspective for your painting. Here, I decided to focus on this red chair with the sunny balcony behind. I know the contrast might make this a darker piece than most of Matisse's painting, but I like the idea of trying to use bright colors to achieve shadows. Take a pencil or charcoal and lightly sketch the basic shapes and elements of your living room on your canvas. Focus on capturing the key furniture, windows, and architectural structure that will form the backbone of your painting. This sketch will be your guide, but not a golden rule, throughout the process. Let's establish the background. Now it's time to lay down the foundation. Choose color that will complement your main object color scheme and set the desired mood for your living room painting. Use broad brush strokes or a large brush to cover the larger areas of the background. Remember, we are aiming for a Matisse-inspired vibe here. So, dissonant color like pink, blue, green, orange are welcome and should mix and blend. But be careful though, if you paint with acrylic like me, over mixing your colors will result in a brown mess. So be loose, be spontaneous. Identify the major shapes and objects in your living room and block them with your paint. Start with the larger furniture pieces, architectural details, and of course, the window frame. Use medium-sized brushes and simplify the forms, just like Matisse did. It's time to bring your painting to life by adding some details and texture. Pay close attention to the smaller elements in your living room, such as decorations, patterns, or the play of light and shadow. Use smaller brushes or even a palette knife to create texture and depth following Matisse bold brushwork. Use pure white to highlight the shapes, create reflection and show the light shining through the window. And a dark but solid color to underline the shadows. I took a couple blue for this, but don't be afraid to use the color you see, not the ones your brains tell you. You don't have to use the complementary colors to mark the shadows. See, for the red chair, my shadows are blue, and for the brown window, they are purple. Dare to use vibrant colors and contrasting hues to infuse energy and visual interest into your painting. And don't forget to add those expressive brush strokes that Matisse was famous for. For this one, you know the drill also. Looking at the general picture, we tidy up everything, we add or remove some touches of color to have a clean and balanced composition. And there we go. We have successfully introduced Fauvism into our painting. Don't hesitate to show me your work on social media with the hashtag NGFCPaint, and I will see you next time.